Well, back so soon. I thought it would be tomorrow morning, but here we are. It's 8:12 Eastern on the 3rd of November, well under 24 hours out from the annual NFL trade deadline. And sure enough, Eric DeCosta in the Ravens front office, not done yet. They're bringing in Tennessee Titans edge rusher Draymond Jones, and we're going to get into all that and more, including whether or not EDC is done at this point. 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow is the deadline. Defensive help on the way, and the Ravens have a new sack getter leader. That's right, 4.5. Actually, isn't it? Well, let's bring in Paul Kuharsky. He's going to have all the statistics for me. I think it's either 4.5 or 6.5, but we'll get into that in just a bit. Can you tell this is an instant reaction? Yes, let's bring him on, and he can help me out. Paul Kuharsky joins me, longtime Titans reporter, and thank you for doing this first and foremost, Paul, in last-minute fashion. Here he is, Draymond Jones. The Ravens are sending a conditional 5th rounder that could possibly become a 4th rounder. There's the number, 4.5 sacks in the last 4 games, including one heck of a game yesterday that maybe you'll be able to tell us about. But I guess just at a high level, who are the Ravens getting in Draymond Jones?
Yeah, so the return is the Jets pick, the Jets 5th rounder, and it can the conditions could take it into the Ravens 4th rounder. So that'll be a jump of what, maybe 12 spots, depending on how good the Ravens get. Draymond Jones was absolutely invisible for the first 4 games of the Titans season. And they had a bunch of no-name pass rushers. Harold Landry, they let go. He was due $17 million. They let him go in a salary cap move and an aging move. He went and rejoined with Mike Vrabel up in New England. And they're left with a cobbling together of guys. Arden Key, a streaky guy who's been hurt lately. They signed Draymond Jones. They ended up with Jihad Ward and some low-ranking draft guys, Jalen Harrell, Ali Gay, who's now on IR. And really, the pass rush was expected not to be much. And to come from Jeffrey Simmons, who's playing an all-pro defensive tackle, and Tavondre Sweat, last year's number 2 second-round pick, big run stuffer inside who is going to develop as a pass rusher next to Simmons. But in the last month, Draymond Jones, he recovered a fumble in the Titans' lone win, a game the Cardinals gave the Titans, and he's come to life. He has 4.5 sacks in the last 4 games, a sack a game, sack and a half yesterday against the Chargers. And he's a completely different player and a guy I'm sure that they did not love letting go. But Titans are all about next year at this point.
I was going to say, there's pros and cons that come with that, right? From a coverage standpoint, I know it's been a tumultuous couple of years there, and seeing what Mike Vrabel's doing in New England, I can only imagine what your readers and what your followers, what the temperature's like in Tennessee land right now. You mentioned just the no-show first half of the first half, if you will. But you mentioned, I think, 4 games is what you said, a no-show for 4.5 games.
Yeah. I mean, only in Arizona, and I think a ball wound up at his feet. He fell on a fumble, but really did very little through 5 games. And then the last 4 games, he's been terrific. I mean, not just the sacks, but very active pass rusher, making noise and leading this group, really. And they'll miss him. Jihad Ward also playing very well. He had 2.5 sacks yesterday after becoming a dad to a new baby girl on Friday or Saturday. But these are guys that, the Titans' theme this offseason was that they were going to get stouter on the edge, and try to do it with bigger guys, to which I said, well, it's easy to decide to do it with bigger guys after you don't have the resources to find a bendy edge, which is what everybody wants. The best edges are bendy guys who could bend the corner. You don't get one of those guys because you don't spend the draft capital on it, because they don't make it to free agency. So then conveniently you say, well, what we're going to do is go with bigger edges who could set the edge better and will play better against the run. And then we're going to coordinate. This is their big theme. We're going to coordinate all these guys, and they're going to move well together. It's going to produce a pass rush. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't need Myles Garrett to coordinate with anybody. Coordinate with the official that he's, dealing with after he picks up the fumble that he forced when he's knocking down the quarterback. But, Titans right now, pass rush amongst all of the worries they have hasn't been one. Now, Justin Herbert is a sackable quarterback, but they sacked him 6 times yesterday. It's not the reason they lost.
I was going to say, just to reiterate what he did, I just in the last 24 hours or so, I mean, you talk about impactful leading up to the deadline. It's almost like he knew he was going to have a change of scenery that was at his fingertips. 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles, 4 quarterback hits, and 8 pressures. So, hell of a final audition, if you will. And now he lands with the Ravens, who I'm not going to call a contender by any stretch of the imagination, Paul, but the schedule is setting up favorably for them over the next month plus. Be More Vince chimes in, kind of what you were just getting at a minute ago. Maybe you can even go deeper. He says, Paul, why did you think that Dre struggled early in the season? You've mentioned, 4.5, 5 game sample size. If you're going nitty gritty and pinpoint 1 or 2 things, what do you think those would be?
Well, I think it's making an adjustment to a team without a lot of talent, being relied on as Femi Oladejo also is here. He was their 2nd round pick out of UCLA. Young guy who's now on IR with a fractured leg. They're hoping he'll be back before the end of the season, but just not a lot of talent. And not a lot of talent on the back end either. And they've got 3 new corners starting now after L'Jarius Sneed is on IR, and they traded Roger McCreary, their nickel, last week, and they traded Jarvis Brownlee, one of their starting outside guys, a couple weeks ago to the Jets, who wasn't a culture fit, which is something because he's playing pretty well for the Jets, though he's moved from outside to inside. So it's just bereft of talent outside of Jeffrey Simmons, and then yesterday, the defense scored a touchdown. Cody Barton had an early pick 6. Special team scored a touchdown. They got a punt return touchdown for the first time in like 13 years. And the offense scored 6 points. So it's just a bad football team. He said all the right things after the game yesterday. He was asked questions about potentially being traded and said he really liked the organization. But obviously short term, you're paying for what, 9 games, 8 games of the remainder of the season. And there's a team in Baltimore that, is scrapping to make the best of what's still a semi-realistic, at least playoff opportunity if they can stay healthy. And certainly Titans wish Draymond Jones the best in terms of getting there, so long as the Titans aren't playing the Ravens, and the 2 teams historically don't feel very good about each other when they're both good.
That's what's funny, right? You and I are both old enough to remember 2 years ago, right around this time, what was nixed and everything that took place with the Derrick Henry would-be acquisition, just to turn around a year later and bring him in the offseason. For those of you that are just tuning in live, we've got Draymond Jones coming to Baltimore. It's a acquisition between Tennessee and the Ravens. Adam Schefter noting a short while ago that the pick going to Tennessee.
I noted it before he noted it. Let's take note.
I was about to give you that, right? You noted it. Adam Schefter's noting it, but you clipped him. Well done there, Paul Kuharsky. Follow him on Twitter for all things Titans coverage. The pick that's going to Tennessee is the Jets 2026 5th rounder that Baltimore had. There are conditions in which that pick could become the Ravens 2026 4th, which is what you mentioned at the top. Let's get to some of his alignment. You've already mentioned his measurables. He's 6'3", 280. What do you think in terms of fit is his best overall attributes?
Well, I mean, obviously he's stronger than he is fast. I talked about bendy edges, and that being what everybody would like first and foremost is a guy that can singularly burn the edge. He's going to be more of a power guy at that size with his pedigree. I mean, a guy that big, if he was a burner, would be doing a lot better than a 1-year contract with the Tennessee Titans. in the offseason, but he's had flashes in his career. And I think he's been pretty workmanlike. He's a no nonsense guy. He's pretty good quote once he got comfortable with us. I've come to like him, and I'm going to miss talking to him during the week. He said, all the right things yesterday about wanting to stay and having an affection for the organization. And I think he's sincere in that. I mean, he needed somebody to give him a chance to kind of regenerate his career. And here now, through 9 games, he bought himself a chance to get to a team that's, as we've said, got a chance to claw its way back into things here and maybe certainly play in more meaningful games the rest of the way.
At what point in the free agency process, if you go back down memory lane, what point did they bring him in?
I think he was reasonably early. I mean, they weren't super active right out of the gate. I'm trying to remember this year as opposed to last year, but this is a team that's looking more for mid-range guys. They made one big play. Dan Moore got giant money as an average left tackle, and everybody kind of knew that, hey, that's just the market for a veteran left tackle who gets to free agency. And the Titans have had such offensive line problems and had so many needs. They decided this is the position where we're going to pay a big free agent with some experience to come in, help settle things down while we spend our draft capital on other things. And obviously that started with Cam Ward, which also prevented them from, getting the number 1 edge in the draft, which was the guy everybody thought they'd get if they traded out of that position and didn't take a quarterback. They haven't drafted a first-round edge since, I think, 2010, if I'm not mistaken, Derek Morgan. So it's been way, way too long. They've had some success in the second round. But Draymond Jones was one of the guys they said, come in and help us hold over until we get more people. Femi Oladejo, even as they drafted him in the second round after a trade down, was a guy who is kind of destined to be their number 2. And now they need to go back in the draft. They had this at a couple positions where they got guys, they got 2 fourth-round receivers who they like a lot, Alec Ayomanor and Chimere Dike, who is leading the league in all-purpose yardage. And had a punt return touchdown yesterday. 4th-round picks who they like at receiver. But again, they need to go now and get a number 1 receiver to be on top of these guys and let them be second or third. So it's kind of building from the back in some ways. And Draymond Jones was a guy who was helping them do that.
I'll get you out of here on a 2-for-1 if you don't mind. 1, if you're a betting man, do they budge at all on Simmons between now and 4 tomorrow? And then 2, any injury history that you're aware of with Draymond?
Not while he's been here. I don't know about his previous stops. I don't think they'll budge on Simmons. He's really the only star player they have. And he's been a little bit of a sour guy with the media in the past. Little coddled, he's been a super solid citizen. It was never a bad guy, but he is, he's come in, lost weight, playing out of his mind. He's got a hamstring injury now. Hopefully that doesn't take him too long, but he wants new guaranteed money, and he has done everything you could ask of him and more. Changed kind of his leadership tact, I think, in a very healthy way for them. And look, I would take a 1st and a 3rd, or 1st and a good 4th for him, just because I think I'd take a 4th-round defensive tackle if I could get a 1st-round corner, edge, receiver. I think those positions are more important. I wish for them that they had their superstar at a more important position. I know defensive tackles could be super influential, but it'd be better for this bad team if its best player played a little more notable position. But he's a terrific player, and I think they just think, how far down can we go?
You think he and Marshall Yonda, if they were to meet up in public, would be cordial to each other?
Well, that's one of the reasons that Jeff Simmons and I don't get along great, is because I asked him about spitting at Marshall Yonda, and he didn't take kindly to it.
Why is it that you're always sticking your neck out there? But it's the best. It's the best possible way to do what you do. Didn't you just go viral the other day with Cam about the whole like terminology thing?
Yeah, but that was friendly. I don't know how that got spun negatively. People on the outside made it like struggling rookie quarterback, tests the media, says you guys can't even do what I do in terms of calling a play. Actually, he was just having fun with us. He had his wristband up there the week before, and a PR guy reminded him to take it off. And this time he took it off and he kept it at the podium. And when he's very lighthearted with us, I got to give him credit. As bad as things have been, his spirits have not changed. He answers all the questions. He does not get sour about us asking about all these negative developments, which I think is a good sign about his potential, And he said, "Is it my turn to ask you guys questions?" when he was done. And he threw out this one play call, and we were like, "No chance. I'll give you a shorter one. This is just in the base offense or whatever." And I was closest to him and maybe loudest, and I said, "No chance." And he said, "You just got me sacked, Paul. Thanks a lot." And I had much worse back and forth with Brian Callahan, and I think Cam Ward's got a chance. Brian Callahan did not.
I was going to say, what a unique situation for him to fall into to start off his NFL career. I mean, it's big challenge for him. But
long time.
What was I going to ask you before I get you on out of here? God, was it something Simmons related? You cracked me up with the whole Simmons thing. But in the meantime, maybe I'll refresh myself when you let everybody know where you can be found and what
Send
you got
text.
coming up.
Yeah.
Everybody wants.
PaulKuharsky.com, all things Tennessee Titans. They have a bye week finally this week, so we will slow things down. And I teach a couple classes over at Belmont University here in Nashville, so I'm grading some papers tonight, some case studies, finishing those up. So take a little football breather, and we'll see if I decide to circumvent my YouTube TV tonight or skip football.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm kind of frustrated that I got it on in the background right now and it automatically just defaults to NBC News. Like nobody can get ESPN right now.
Enjoy the news. I don't know, that it's amazing because ESPN's really controlling this thing. They've got all kinds of avenues for you to complain to YouTube TV. I want to complain to ESPN. Hey, you're holding YouTube TV hostage. Where's my complaint to the Disney side?
Right. I think a lot of people echo your sentiments. I was going to say, by the way, sorry for peeling you away from a Monday night, but the fact that you're correcting papers, I'm actually going to.
Yeah, it's a good break
for reaching out. Yeah,
good break. Yeah. Thanks.
So, all right, Paul. Well, great to have you on again, and hope you enjoy your bye week and have a great rest of your semester.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Paul Kuharsky, guys, would love for you to follow him if you don't already. And I'll drop that link into the live chat because you guys know how it goes. I mean, he's just doing this out of his own generosity. So if you could shoot him a follow or shoot him a thank you, tag him, whatever it is on Twitter, it'd mean a lot to me. And appreciate you guys for being with me late night. Obviously, this is the second live stream in really as many hours. I thought I was going to go and honestly have a cigar, to be quite honest with you. I was thinking about going to get a cigar at one of the local spots since I don't really know anybody in St. Pete. And I went to Publix instead. I brought my laptop thinking I was going to the cigar lounge, but I went to Publix first, got a deli sandwich, that is, boar's head roast beef, lettuce, tomato, onion, salt, pepper. I think there might have been a couple cucumbers crushed up in there. And I was literally on my way over to the cigar lounge when I realized that we had breaking news. And because we give you guys what you need at all times, all hours around the clock, here we are. No cigar lounge for your boy. Thank you to Paul Kuharsky for joining me. I'll now open up the guest lines. If you'd like to share a thought on this breaking news, feel free to do so. But let's kind of reset things. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network noting that the Ravens are trading for Titans edge rusher Draymond Jones, sending a conditional 5th rounder that could possibly become a 4th rounder. Adam Schefter then added in some more context. The pick and Paul Kuharsky was first. Let's be clear on that. Thank you, Paul. The pick that's going to Tennessee is the Jets 2026 5th rounder that Baltimore had. But there are conditions in which that pick could become the Ravens 2026 fourth rounder. Okay? Those are the conditions that are attached. Draymond Jones is 28 years old. He'll turn 29 this January on the 5th. He is 6'3", 281 pounds, originally from Cleveland. He played his college football at Ohio State. He was a 4-year player, a stud at that. He was a third-round draft pick, 71st overall back in 2019 by the Denver Broncos. He then spent 2 years in Seattle, and the Titans brought him in free agency this past offseason. Cole Jackson had a few notes on what he's done so far this year. You heard, obviously, Paul Kuharsky's thoughts in terms of the slow start to his season. But since then, he's been balling. And he's coming off perhaps the best game of his season, which, of course, was a great final audition prior to the deadline. Those overall numbers, it was a loss to the Chargers. But, man, it wasn't for a lack of what Draymond Jones did. 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles, 4 quarterback hits, and 8 pressures is what he's coming off of. He had 19 and has 19 pressures to date, as Cole tallied up here. 5 sacks on the year. And yeah, he automatically becomes the number 1 Raven sack getter, obviously. And by a comfortable margin, by the way. So that's your newest Raven. Is it needle moving? I don't know. But it certainly can't hurt. You're not giving up the whole kitchen sink for the guy. He'll probably be available and ready to play for you on this upcoming trip to Minnesota. He's got alignment versatility. He's 6'3", 280 with speed, power. And he's still young. He's not 30 yet. So hopefully the Ravens aren't done. They got a lot more time between now and 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, Tuesday the 4th, to go and get another guy. And I have reason to believe that it will end up being plural guys. And if you go back several weeks, it's really plural. The Alohi Gilman acquisition is involved here. Dealing Jair Alexander, getting a sixth rounder, that is, in April with Philadelphia, business from over the weekend. Now you go get Draymond Jones. It's a thin edge rusher room. Draymond's going to help. Let's see if Carl Lawson makes his Ravens debut coming up this weekend as well. And let's go to the guest lines. Where are you guys at on this? I am going to attach the 60-second timeline. I'm sorry, but the waiting room's cooking right now, and I want to make sure we get in as many perspectives as we can. I want to say thanks to Paul Kuharsky for joining the program. Thought he gave great perspective on what the Ravens are getting in Draymond Jones, the newest edge rusher. And remember, in a contract year, the Ravens traded Odafe Owe several weeks ago. Yes, he's off to a good start with the Chargers, but the Ravens are replacing him essentially in collectives. In bunches, I should say. Carl Lawson, now you bring in Draymond Jones. You're hoping that Mike Green continues to develop. You're hoping that, I don't know if anybody's hoping for anything from a David. I mean that respectfully. I don't know if anybody's hoping for anything at this point from David Ajabo, to be quite honest. Kyle Van Noy, you need him to continue sipping from the fountain of youth and most importantly, stay healthy. There's times where I don't think he's going to be a Raven next year, to be clear on that. If he is, I think they got issues. And that's no disrespect to KVN. They got to get younger at the position. Don't you guys think so? Oscar, Olu, Richard, coming to you guys in just a second. Shimmy Boy says, I don't know if I was paying attention. Did you ask him about Zeitler being on the trade block? And Draymond is but we will see. Fuck, why didn't I ask him about Kevin Zeitler? Son of a bitch. Hold on a second. Oscar, how come you didn't let me know about that? Let me text him. I'm texting Paul right now. Should I be like, hey, Paul, can you actually stop grading papers again and come back on and talk about Kevin Zeitler? All right, I'll let you know what he says. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Guest lines are open. Oscar L's in the building. I'm still laughing that Mr. Emporium never showed up in our live stream earlier. What a pathetic piece. All right, I'll go back to guest lines. before I get in trouble. Oscar, welcome to the program, brother. Your 60 seconds is going to start in just a bit. It's great to have you. Your lighting is immaculate. Your thoughts on the Ravens' first of hopefully a couple in the next 12 hours or so.
I mean, I like it. I do. I don't think we overpaid. I mean, if it's a fourth, then it's a fourth. I think we should be okay. He's also in his contract year. They only signed him to a 1-year deal, so that is something to consider. I think he definitely drove up his stock in the last couple of weeks, in the last month or so. I was cracking up when you were mentioning Ojabo. I was like, where did the snaps come from last game? I saw him out there most of the time. That's the longest I've ever seen him in his Ravens career. Like, yeah, I like it. He's not past his prime. He obviously physically is there. It's not a high profile move, of course, but I do think that it's yeah, I think it's a good start.
I think it's fair, brother. Send me those links to all your lights, all right?
Sounds
Later,
good.
man.
Absolutely,
Appreciate the call, dude. That is a dope studio. Wherever you are, that's absolutely dope. And I'm going to need all that expertise and more. It is nightfall, obviously, as you can tell. I need lighting behind me, don't I? All I have is and a seat. You know what I should really have? Stand by. Hold on a second. Watch this. You know what? This calls for, since Ravens are getting defensive help on the way. And the seat, I love you. Thank you for sponsoring the show. But in comes bottled Charm City Spirits. I should just break that shit open right now. Matter of fact, you can't even see it. How about it? Nathan Thomas, I see you're walking. You want some of this during your walk? Make you feel a little something, something? How about it? All right. Anyway, shameless plug. What are you going to do? To Nathan Thomas we go, who is literally getting in his steps right now, meaning I think it's figure season, right? I'm trying to get a little lean and mean. Nate Thomas, talk to me. Welcome into the program, brother.
Hey, Bobby. Sorry, I'm at the gym. Just got a yoga, and I'm hitting the treadmill for a bit. But my question, I guess, is more specifically with the picks. So we got a 7th and Olivia Gilman for OA and a 5th. And then this is also a 5th. It's a different 5th, I think. But if we get a comp pick for him as well, how does that kind of stack up on the draft board when it comes to Eric DeCosta at the end of the season?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just got a text back from, and hold that thought because I'm going to need you to ask it again. Because I was looking at this. Paul Kaharski, who just joined the show, you guys probably caught him, part of him. I failed to mention about Kevin Zeitler. That's a problem. That's on me. All right, I need Sarah sometimes. Son of a. But I said, hey, I forgot to ask you about Zeitler. What's going on? He goes, fading. That's all he wrote. Fading. Meaning he thinks he's he thinks he's staying in Tennessee. Now, that's obviously can change. We'll see what the Ravens end up floating out his way. Or if they end up floating. We don't even know if there's interest. We do know that obviously Kevin Zeitler will be an immediate upgrade in terms of what they have right now at right guard. I think we know that. But that's just from Paul Kaharski right now. So anyway, your question was related to draft compensation, where they stack up in 2026. Can you ask that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the first trade was OA and a 7th for Gilman and a 5th. We got a 5th in. Obviously, the 5th that is conditional in this case is not that 5th, or is it that 5th? And then that is if Draymond performs well, does that mean we could possibly come out with higher draft capital upside if we get a comp pick or something like that? Obviously, OA might get his own comp pick because he's performing pretty well. But I love kind of the draft compensation in the back end because this is pretty much the same type of pick that we got when we gave OA.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, just for those who missed it, the pick that's going to Tennessee is the Jets 2026 5th round that Baltimore had. Right, this is from Schefter. There are conditions in which that pick could become the Ravens 2026 4th rounder, which is what you alluded to. And right now, I don't believe, as of right now, they only have one 4th round pick. As of right now, this would be a second. They would potentially, obviously, we'll see what happens with this. Some of the conditions that are involved there. Right now, they have outside the first because we're still waiting to see how the whole seeding works and how they finish in the first. They have a 2nd rounder. They have 1 3rd, 1 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. leading into this acquisition. They had 5 fifth-round picks, which is absurd. And they had a 7th rounder, and they had, you have to add in this website that I'm looking at does not have the updated log after the Jair Alexander acquisition, so you got to add a 6th in there as well. So, I mean, come on, you don't need that many on the 5th. You didn't need that many in the 6th this past right? It was the 6th last year. How many did they have this past year? Wasn't it like 5 or 6 in the 6th or something ridiculous?
Yeah, they moved around a bit, but yeah, I think it was up there. It was at least 4, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, but all right, man. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your workout and keep the yoga coming. I love it.
Thanks, Bobby.
Namaste. Appreciate you, Nate. Guys, we're getting an instant reaction to what we now know is the first of potentially, I don't know, multiple moves coming up. Draymond Jones is now a Baltimore Raven. The Ravens and Titans have done business here tonight, and perhaps Eric DeCosta is going to be working closely into the wee hours here, I would think, as the 4:00 Eastern deadline looms tomorrow. Olu, still getting reaction to this one. Your thoughts on the newest member of this Ravens edge rusher room? What's going on?
Man, not overly enthused about it, but he's young. I'm watching the game, and I'm seeing Calais Campbell playing right now, so that's not a great bid for him coming over. 280, that's good. I would like it to be 300 pounds to be able to be at the 0 or 1 tick. But for the guys who were saying something about earlier, I was listening to trading away Ben Cleveland, or you don't trade away help. Even though he's not being used, you can't trade him away because we know in the NFL, one play, he's up next. So all we can just hope is that Daniel doesn't fall back on Lamar, and that Lamar can use one of his stiff arms to the back of Lele's neck to keep him off of him. But this guy here, it's we'll see.
Olu, you cracked me up in the Vault live chat. Keep it coming, baby. Keep it coming.
All right, Bobby.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And thank you guys for being here. Super chats just come in from Oscar, and he says, I'm in my man cave. I got the lights from Home Depot. Well, send me those Home Depot links anyway, will you? Appreciate you, Oscar. Thanks for the super chat. We are live and instantly reacting to the first. It's not the first, right? It's not the first. The Ravens in early October sent Odafe Owe to the Chargers for Alohi Gilman and a day 3 pick swap, right? Then over the weekend, they sent Jair Alexander to Philadelphia. That was also for a day 3 pick swap. They did not have a 6th round pick up until what? This past weekend. We'll see what they end up doing with that. And now we know that, look, this is essentially, they're just flipping. I like how Baltimore Beatdown just tweeted this out because I agree with the way that they put this together. The Ravens flipped Odafe Owe and Jair Alexander for Alohi Gilman and Draymond Jones. That makes a lot of sense to me. Whether or not that's a needle-moving acquisition and upgrade there remains to be seen, but I think that's a good way of putting it. And Beatdown, I don't know who's running this account, but they're on top of it tonight. Gilman has stabilized the back end of the defense, they write. Alexander was not going to get used, and Jones' production is similar to Owe's. The Ravens still have room for another move, too. I think that's the best way to put this. And that's where they currently stand. Andrew G's back for more. Just didn't have enough on me, huh? Welcome back to the program. Your instant reaction to yet another EDC move as we approach the deadline.
I like the move. The things that I'm not a fan of, he didn't fit Mike McDonald's system when they had him cut weight on the edge. So that's why because of his contract, they cut him and let him go to Tennessee. The other thing I'm not a fan of is that he feasted on the Chargers' third string offensive line. But I like that Jim Harbaugh's giving us some intel on tape. But overall, some decent depth at edge that we definitely needed. So I'm not mad about it, but we need to do a little bit more. But appreciate that EDC is looking out and getting positions of need.
I'm glad you just mentioned that because that's some of the context that I just didn't have enough time to look into prior to going live as quickly as possible. So was this who was in place of Joe Alt?
Yes. Pipkins, he had a pretty big day on over the weekend.
Yeah.
And their right tackle Slater, I think, was out too. So both of their tackles are gone.
I think both those guys are out for the year, right?
Yeah. So they're on
they
like
just shut down. They just shut down Alt today.
Yeah.
So that's good context. He lit up the stat sheet. I've already mentioned that a couple times. Final audition, if you will, leading into the deadline and whatnot. But that's good context. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Take care, man.
See you around. Yep. Richard, your thoughts? Are you content? Are you pleased? Are you unsatisfied? Is it dissatisfied or unsatisfied?
I think it'd be probably dissatisfied.
Yeah.
With it being the word, not. I would say I'm kind of apathetic about the move. You kind of, to me, it feels like light. I don't imagine him. Yeah, he got 4.5 sacks, is great, but got 4 sacks after he left Baltimore. So I mean, I think part of it is it's gonna be the fit. The biggest thing, I think, the one thing that would make me change in a positive direction is if we got somebody in the trenches, whether or not that's Calais, whether or not that's Quentin Williams. Dexter Lawrence is still going to be my number one guy. Hell, I mean, if the Cowboys lose tonight, which they're not playing great, give me somebody from the Cowboys. I don't care. Just give me somebody. Give me somebody on the freaking line. I need that.
3-0. It's okay. 3-0 in the first. Yeah.
Yeah, they're losing, but I mean, it's the Cowboys would do what the Cowboys do, would just go for 4th and 5 on the goal line when they have the best kicker in the league, in my opinion, right now. So the Cowboys are doing what the Cowboys are going to do.
Don't you think, going back to our show earlier today, and yes, that's true. One thing Dallas will always do is Dallas. But don't you think that earlier today, I just kind of threw it out there randomly just because this is how the Ravens do business, right? Unlike Marcus Peters in 2019 and Roquan Smith in 2022, those were outliers, right, for how they typically do business around the deadline. But both players went on to be extended, obviously, too, which was not the case with Tre'Davious and Deontay and other players that they brought in prior to the deadline in recent years. But this is kind of buying low. This is what they're doing. They're buying low. It's not going to be something that I would think turns around this defense, but it doesn't hurt. And based on what we were talking about earlier on, it is sort of a swap. They've sort of done a flipping here. Bring in Alohi Gilman, send out Odafe Owe, pick swap, send Jair Alexander to Philly, pick swap. And now, obviously, the play in here. And, legend of block parties, like, they always buy low. And that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I have 2 points for this.
Go ahead.
I have 2 points I want to make. So, number one, I don't like the fact that this is the Jets' 5th round pick. Because the Jets they're going to be a very low 5th round pick. That's going to be essentially a high 4th. And if it becomes the conditional 4th, it essentially becomes a high 3rd. I'm not a fan of that. But what I am a fan of, I just looked at it spot rack right now. His contract is going to take $1.3 million, which means I believe we're at 13 or 14.5 million. You better damn well make a move tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Because we have the cap space for it.
The cap space is there. They got it's around 15, I think.
Well, with his contract in it, so he's going to take up 1.3. That's what Sparklights already told me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
it'll be around 14 then.
No, we're looking at 13.5 to 14.
Okay. All right.
Which, I mean, is at halfway through the season. That means that you can legitimately get somebody who was getting $20 million a year. That's very possible.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Guest lines are popping. Draymond Jones is the newest Raven. Eric DeCosta and company bringing in somebody that is going to automatically overnight become their number one sack getter by a 2.5 sack margin. Nnamdi Madubuike, who hasn't played in a month, if not over a month at this point. And Tavius Robinson, who had to shut it down with a foot fracture. Excuse me, Celsius. Both lead the way with 2 sacks apiece. Draymond has 4.5. Paul Kaharski, Titans reporter, shared some good context in terms of what he's brought to the Titans. He said he was non-existent, almost invisible. Was that the wording that he used? I'm paraphrasing. Through the first 4 or 5 games this year. So that's discouraging. But at the same time, he's come on in recent weeks. Yeah, as Andrew G kind of provided a little bit of context on. Chargers offensive line, struggling tackles, but both bookend tackles, struggling second, third stringers. He beat up on them yesterday in a loss. The numbers suggest that he was a game wrecker, but obviously you got to dig a little bit deeper in terms of what makes Draymond Jones. And now the Ravens are going to hope that he is capable of being that guy. We'll see. We'll see if he's ready to play on Sunday in Minnesota. 6'3", 281. Spent his last 2 years prior to this offseason in Seattle, and he was drafted by the Denver Broncos 3rd round, 2019. Lindsay, you moved by this? Welcome to the program, man.
Hey, Bobby, I appreciate you. Long-time listener, first-time caller, calling you from the Philippines. Real quick, because you got the timer on me. These kind of moves, these are the things that frustrate me the most about EDC. He goes bargain basement hunting, and this doesn't move the needle at all. It doesn't address our need on the offensive line. It's frustrating. And unlike a lot of other Ravens fans, I'm kind of in your camp. I think, I won't say we're done, but I do think that until we fix this offensive line, we're going to get Lamar killed. I just don't see us moving past a wild card round. And I do appreciate you too, Bobby. Thanks a lot.
Hey, the feeling's mutual. I appreciate you for calling in from the Philippines. I feel like it'd be illegal of me to put you to a timer. Come on, it's a first time caller, long time subscriber. Who would I be to send you packing right now? But
I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you.
I appreciate the sentiment there. They obviously have more time. I don't think they're done. I do think we're going to be talking about tomorrow by noon, or maybe not. Maybe it's afternoon. I think Sarah and I will be talking about multiple moves, not this move. And it's obviously important to remember, as we've noted, that they've already made 2 moves to begin with in recent weeks with Jair.
Agreed.
Were they needle moving? No, but the numbers suggest that the defense is starting to move that needle in the correct direction. But generally speaking, I hear you. You know, he's aggressive.
And to address that, Bobby, is you have to look at who you're playing. You know, we're playing Chicago. The teams that we would face in the playoffs, they ran around us, threw over the top of us, and we had no defense for it. And that's kind of where I'm at. I love the Ravens, been a fan for over 25 years, but it's just frustrating to see us shopping in the bargain basement bin, trying to, nickel and dime our way to a pass rush, to a defensive tackle, and again, not even addressing the offensive line. But I will reserve the right to say, I told you so this time tomorrow.
Look, obviously what you're getting at here is I don't know if I've been banging the drum, so to speak, but I've been catching some heat for the way I view this team in recent weeks. I'm also acutely aware of just how much they're still in it in terms of attempting to dig themselves out of the hole that they've dug, which it's all right. Crazy to believe that it's all right in front of them. I still think that it's a coin flip between them and Pittsburgh for the division. But as we all know, you don't necessarily need to win the division to qualify for January. Where I do think it brings me back to last year, given this hole and the size of this hole, is they are going to have to answer for things that ultimately became too hard to overcome last year in January. And that was going on the road earlier than they had to, right? Playing in cold weather environments earlier than they had to, And that was all due to seeding. And that was all due to tiebreakers or lack thereof and issues that they had with last year's slow start. And that was an 0-2 start that we talked about. We're talking about 1-5. And so as great as it will be, and I will gladly eat words if they go on and win this division and make the postseason and so on and so forth, my gut is telling me that we're going to have similar conversations a couple months from now in terms of just how difficult it became to overcome some of those challenges, particularly when you got to go to the Buffaloes in January, when you got to go to the Arrowheads where you've never won throughout the Lamar era in January, when you got to go to the Cincinnati's not going to be in it, and Pittsburgh's not probably. Well, Pittsburgh actually could be hosting a playoff game, but you know what I mean.
It could be the reverse of last year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, I appreciate the call, and thanks for all the support you give us from the Philippines.
I got you, and thanks for taking my call. And keep up the great work. And I'll talk with you soon.
Hell yeah, looking forward to it. That's the power of YouTube right there, man. It makes me happy, makes me smile. You know, I'm appreciative of the chance that I got to start my career in radio, but the reality is I never would have met somebody like Lindsay. It is Lindsay, right? Or I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We never would have had a chance to meet through local radio like that, face to face. I'm just very appreciative of the platform. So thank you for the call, my man. Johnny, if you're ready to go, we'll bring you onto the screen. If you could show your face, and we're obviously instantly reacting tonight to the newest Raven who is joining Zach Gore's defense. That is Draymond Jones. He is a 28-year-old edge rusher who spent the first half of this season in Tennessee, and now he is Baltimore bound. And they're going to need anything that he can possibly give them to lift up this defense. Johnny, your thoughts? You moved by this or what? What's going on, brother? Welcome to the program.
What's up, brother? How you doing, Bobby? Who did we get before him? Who was the dude DN that we got off the streets?
Carl Lawson, who will likely make his debut this weekend.
Okay, so both of them together, I think I forgot that we got him. So both of them together, I say it's an average move. But I'm just thinking, man, at the end of the day, when we playing Buffalo or Kansas City, it's just not going to be enough. Like we need a game changer. We don't need penny pitching. We need somebody that could stop the run, which he might be able to stop the run, but we need somebody to sack the quarterback, man. And I just don't think it's enough for it to win a championship, man. And I'm with the other gentleman. I just don't get the discount every year. Why we keeping 6-5 picks, and why we getting all these C players to pass the rusher when everybody else is why?
You want to know why? Because they got a quarterback that should have been extended by now. And that's on both parties, that in fact it hasn't gotten done yet. All right? That's why. They got a quarterback that if this deal doesn't get done, that cap hit for 2026 is going to skyrocket. You cannot.
You talking about Lamar?
You cannot contend for championships unless that deal gets done. Period.
Yeah. Okay, well that makes sense. But at the end of the day, why not bring in Joe Flacco, and why sign Cooper Rush? Like, what's like? I don't get it. I don't get why spend $14 if you want to save money. Why you spend $14 million on Cooper Rush?
That's going to be something that we absolutely look back on this offseason. That will be an area that we dissect Eric on, because he missed. The organization missed by bringing in Cooper. I was wrong. I said he gave him the best chance to win. I was wrong. He looked terrible. Had very little command of the offense. Yes, the offensive line was a part of that, but clearly you have got to stylistically pick quarterbacks for the foreseeable future, and it should be Snoop, by the way, for the foreseeable future as QB2 for Lamar. You have to keep that schematically and stylistically in line with what you have in Lamar. Nobody's going to emulate Lamar. Nobody's going to obviously replace Lamar, but you need guys that can at least keep things intact schematically if or when Lamar goes down, which he obviously did for what? Ended up being, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks?
Exactly. 4 weeks. Exactly. So one more thing, and this is my other thing with Jair and all I'm saying, and with that safety Gilmore or Gary McGillman, why not keep CJ Gardner for a real cheap price
don't sign Gilman and sign a bigger D pass rusher. But Bobby, I appreciate you, man. Hopefully we do good, but I'm hoping we lose about 2 more and fire John Harbaugh. I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more, man.
All right, Johnny. Thanks for the call, man.
Take care, brother. I appreciate it.
You're honest, very honest. Yes, you are. And I'm about to be really honest with Kwame, because I got a news flash for you, Kwame. You're my guy. I know you never miss a show. KB, don't do this. Don't do this. Abdi, don't do this shit. We're not doing this in this show. Nope. Major media, a lot of OGs in this live chat. Got a lot of appreciation and love for the people that I'm bringing up on the screen. But this is where I draw the line. Open up your eyes. Come on, fellas. You're better than this. Like, come on. I'm serious. There's nothing that this stuff gets under my skin. And you want to know why? Because you guys are ignoring reality. Okay? No, Chancellor. If the OGs call you out, that doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you listen because they're the OGs and they're a part of why this channel is growing the way that it is. But it doesn't mean I can't push back. Come on. That deal's got to get done. This team won't go anywhere. That cap hit skyrockets to north of 74. Okay? We know what happened in the 2022 offseason leading into 23 and how the organization had handcuffs on it when it came to that contract saga. Lamar is entitled to his privacy. Lamar is entitled to how he does business as someone who represents himself. And Lamar is entitled to quarterback money that resets the market every single time he's eligible to be extended. But he's also one of the reasons why this deal hasn't gotten done. I respect his commitment to being in season mode and not negotiating from the start of the regular season to the end of whenever the playoffs end or whenever things come to a close. But he's got to put this organization in a position where they can help him out and build around him. And you are chained to a fence with that cap hit. Heck, you're chained even in a sense this year. Because the cap hit this year, guys, this current year is north of $43 million. So come on. Don't put words like this is you guys know. You know this sets me off. Don't put words in my mouth. Try and look at this objectively. Take your undying love for Lamar, which I appreciate and admire, and put it aside for a second. As great as Lamar is, as much as a Hall of Fame track as he's on, one player does not win championships in this league. It's the greatest league in the world. And as we've seen, you need help, you need protection, you need pass catchers, you need a high-flying defense, you need complementary special teams. You need it all. You need coaching. You need development. You need a scouting department. The Ravens have a lot of those things. Until they get this player extended, they're not going to get to where they want to go. Kwame, you're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself. You say you're a Ravens fan first, then why are you so quick? As soon as I bring up the fact that one of the reasons why they can't team build is because of this contract and the fact that the extension hasn't gotten done. Now you come back and now you're going to walk yourself back? That's a contradiction. Come on. I love you, KB. Now you guys got me looking at the live chat live. I know that. Maurice, you may not get on here for another hour. I'm just kidding. We're coming to you in a second. Jody says, cherry picking, man. You're in here just to hate. If you honestly want Lamar to leave, then take the hating fandom to another team. No, Jody, respectfully, I want you to take your business to another channel because you're getting it real in here. And if that's not to your liking, it's all good. You and I will handshake and move on. We'll be, we'll cut it right down the middle. That's what we're doing in here. We're not going to sugarcoat things. We're not going to go down the apologist route. I'm not going to be blinded by fandom. I'm not going to be blinded by certain live chat haymakers. It's not happening here. They got to get this deal done, and that's on both parties. Kwame says, we spent $12 million on Cooper Rush when we could have had Snoop for the cheap. What does Lamar's contract have to do with that? KB, apples to oranges, man. I'm not even going to go down the figures route because the figures are so vastly different. It was a miss on Cooper Rush, but in the big picture, that money is insignificant. I appreciate that super chat. I appreciate you guys for being here. Holly tells me not to look at the live chat. It's over. It's over. Oh, I'm sorry, Jody. This is why I need a moderator. I'm sorry, Jody. Jody's like, that wasn't even to you. Jody, can you specify that, please, next time, Jody? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It's just me against the world right now in the live chat, right? Don Royal here, his sorry ass from his mother's basement says, Bobby's a company man capping for EDC and Bishotti. You just copy and paste all day long. Okay, Jody said, Bobby, I was addressing the haters in the chat, not you. I don't know why people keep saying you hate Lamar, but they're supremely misguided. I appreciate that clarification, Jody. You're cracking me up. I'm sorry about that. Oh, my goodness. I've had Maurice hold for a minute now. Jeremy Elliott says Bobby's not a Ravens fan. Shout it from the rooftops. Guys, I got into this business because broadcasting took me in that direction. I don't know how many more times I have to say this. Should I just make an intro and every single live I go and Draymond just tweeted out something, so I'll get to this in just a second. Is this his actual account? Yeah, it is. I'll get this in a second, but should I just have an intro that I bring up every single show, like a default pre-recorded intro that says what my background is since this channel is growing and just to contextualize things? I don't know. Because every time I talk about it, apparently it's not enough. Draymond Jones, first tweet. He says, the NFL is too crazy, LOL. Thank you, Titans family. I loved and appreciated my short time in Nashville too much. Cam is the truth too, y'all. Give him time. He can be great. Cam Ward. I'm ready to be a Raven. Rocking that purple and black. Hashtag Ravens flock. The newest tweet. Draymond Jones, Ravens edge rusher. Richard says, do I need to get back on and talk you off the ledge? Perhaps. Maurice is going to attempt to do exactly that right now. Welcome back to the program, my friend. What you got for us tonight, brother?
All right, so I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like I'm not really all too thrilled about the Draymond Jones. Followed Draymond Jones during this, entire 3-year career at Ohio State because he decided to go his senior year. But he was actually a really good player throughout his time there. It's like he was originally a defensive tackle, and I remember this game quite fondly. It's like it was back in September against TCU. And remember, he was on the same team Nick Bosa was down. So when Nick Bosa got hurt, Draymond Jones stepped in. So I watched the whole entire game, but looking at the film on him, it's like he's actually a pretty solid player. But the question remains is how are we going to utilize Draymond Jones? Because there are still other positions of need we have to address, but we're going to have to wait and see how things go as the coming weeks go on.
Love the mic and headset up, brother. Make it happen. Appreciate you, Maurice. You got a 10-second delay on that sucker, too. What the hell is going on with that? Come on, Maurice. I need you to get every second of those 60. What, Johnny and Richard think they're getting second calls, huh? What the hell are you guys doing? Oh, I see what Johnny's doing over there. You're going to make me want to go to the cigar bar now. I'll walk my ass down there right now. I'll get a little old-fashioned with some bitters in it, a little orange slice, flirt with the bartender. No, I don't do that. Jeff Zarebeck says, Ravens were in on a number of edge rushers. Maybe I do. And they'll land Jones. He is having arguably the best season of his 7-year career. But again, we heard from Paul Kuharsky a short while ago in terms of what led to some of those struggles early on. Shall we take Matt Swirsky? Matt, appreciate you for being a subscriber. Thank you for being here. It's time for you to be taken to school. Matt says, Bobby don't even wear the team's gear he makes money off of. Let me be clear, Matt. I don't make money off the team. I make money based on the entertainment value, hopefully the consistency, and ultimately the level of interest that I think 25,000 plus have bought into, at least to some degree, over the last 4 years since I went independent. If I were to get up here, throw on purple and black, wear a hoodie, wear a hat, wear a watch, wear a freaking, I don't know, chain, sunglasses, would that make you a happier subscriber? Because, Matt, if that's the case, maybe I should shift my entire brand around for you. Would that make you happier? Would that give you more fulfillment on a daily basis? Because if that's the case, I would seriously consider that. And maybe I'll just rethink everything while I'm at it. I would love to hear more from you on how I can make your day-to-day better when it comes to consuming this channel. I look forward to more feedback from you, Matt. DJ Burke writes, stop listening to the loud minority of fans. Relax. Richard says, do I need to get back on and talk you off the ledge, which is the second time I've read that. And that now brings us to Johnny Blunt Williams. Johnny Blunt.
Hey, what's up, Bobby Baltimore?
Are you up in the clouds, my guy?
Well, I didn't know you saw that, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But I just want to explain where your situation or where you at with the Lamar contract. If anybody know about anything about Tom Brady, right? He took multiple homegrown deals to get better talent. There's no way Lamar gonna get paid 70, 40, $50 million a year, and we're gonna win a championship because we can't get a DN, we can't get nobody to block for him, we can't get nobody to tackle. So that's what Bobby Baltimore is saying to y'all. It's no way we could go in next year paying Lamar $70 million. We gonna you, Bobby, and Sarah gonna be playing at the O-line if we pay him $70 million. That's all he's saying, people. That's all he's saying. All he's saying is we need money to get more talent. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you. I'm gonna call in, man. Bobby, I've been watching you all day, literally since this morning or this afternoon. Every show I watched, every show you came out today, man. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You enjoy your time up north. All right.
Yeah, I sure will.
All right. Good. In the waiting room, my man was enjoying himself. Let's just say that. I appreciate you guys for being with me. I'm not necessarily saying that he's got to take hometown discounts, just to be clear. I know Tom did that a number of times throughout his years in New England. I'm not advocating for that. Yes, that's part of how Tom was successful, or at least set the Patriots up for success a time or two during his time in New England. But to be clear, I'm not advocating for that. What I'm advocating for is get the deal done. Get yourself off the books as you're currently slated for right now in 2026 to reserve a cap hit of $74 million and change this upcoming year. North of 74, guys. Back to the classroom we go for Matt, who's back with more feedback. Just as I knew you'd be here, Matt. Gosh darn it. I'm so glad you came back with more feedback. Matt says, it would probably be the norm for someone to do. So Matt's now putting on a master class for how to show me that he's got absolutely not a clue what he's talking about. So the norm, according to Matt Swirsky, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, Matt, is to get up in here, give you the most apologist a take as possible on a daily basis year round about your team so that you feel hunky-dory about a team that is currently underperforming. Matt, you're going to have to find a new channel. Come on now, Matt. Mr. Swirsky. Welcome back to the program. Julian is back in the building. Your
Double
thoughts?
time.
Your
Double time,
thoughts
brother.
on this second time through the newest Raven?
I mean, it's a good kind of sort of good pickup. I mean, I've seen his highlights, but I'm in the middle with it. I'm not gonna like rule off saying, oh, he's not gonna pan out. We don't know. We don't know what he's gonna do when he gets um on the field. But I am curious to see how Zach Orr is going to utilize him, because I don't know if he's going to be in coverage, or he's going to be getting to the quarterback, which he should be doing, which like Mike Green and the rest of them should be doing. So the jury's still out with this one, but I did like what I see in his highlights, though. I mean, it's pretty decent. He gets to the quarterback, so I can say that. But the thing that did concern me is he was kind of quiet the first couple of games of the season, which you mentioned, but he did come on these past couple of weeks, so that's a little bit encouraging. But uh, I would like to see another trade get done. I mean, I'm not really too like settled with this one. I would like to maybe get it, if they are able to get a big name out there, maybe Quentin Williams, maybe from the Jets, if need be. But if not, then we'll see what they do. But they definitely need to get another big name, like
Thanks,
just
Jewel.
to settle the nerves.
Appreciate you, brother. Round
All right,
two.
Bobby. All
We'll
right.
see more on it. We'll probably see Carl Lawson on Sunday as well. So, in a way, it's sort of a duo type of acquisition, right? And can they collectively be impactful together? We'll see. I saw a great comment here from Evan. No one's saying Lamar doesn't deserve the money or to be the highest paid. It's about restructuring the contract so the cap hits different. Sheesh. Correct. Period. That's all it is. Of course he deserves to be highest paid. Excuse me. Celsius is making me burp. Maurice, you got to take over the show because I'm burping. Welcome back to the program. You get another 60 seconds. You weren't satisfied with your first hit, were you?
Yeah, my apologies for the equipment malfunction. I don't know what the hell that was all about. But yeah, I got to be honest about the Draymond Jones signing. It's not a bad signing, but it's safe to say some of us aren't exactly thrilled with the signing. But he's not a bad player by any means. It's like I've actually followed his 3-year tenure at Ohio State. He's actually been a really solid player for them. There's this one specific game I remember watching back in September of 2018 when Nick Bosa went down with an injury, and they ended up calling up Draymond Jones' number to hold down the fort for that defensive unit. So he's actually been pretty solid. It's like he's good in run support, and he can rush the passer when you need it to. But like back to the previous question that we've heard is how Zach Orr is going to utilize Draymond Jones. Funny enough, that's the same question that applies to Carl Lawson.
Love it, brother. Thanks for swinging back through. And don't worry about it. I like that setup earlier. So figure out that connectivity and call in again. All right.
No problem.
Later, man.
All right. Catch you later.
You, Maurice L. My man. Guys, if you haven't already done so, I would love for you to join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. I'm dropping a link that is free. It's free access right now in the live chat. I also want to say thanks to those of you who tweeted at Paul Kuharski as a thank you for the time that he gave us earlier on. Longtime Tennessee Titans reporter, and I thought he had some great context and some great overall perspective on what the Ravens are getting in Draymond Jones, who again has joined the Ravens according to multiple reports on the eve of the NFL's annual trade deadline. Rare Money says the Ravens did nothing before he got paid. They wasted his first contract. If the cap hit was $30 million, I believe they would spend all the money on defense. You talking about Lamar? Rare Money also writes, I understand what you're also saying. Appreciate the super chats, Rare Money. Has Raka Strava sent like the same super chat or the same chat like 10 different times? If so, that's probably worthy of me pulling him up on screen. Raka Stava says, Bobby, please, I've never seen you in such rare form. Do not let these people steam you out. You're doing an awesome job. Thank you, Raka Stava. To be honest with you, I actually enjoy it. It allows me to kind of let my hair down, as I mentioned earlier on. I think it's fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's all in good fun, honestly. And that's why when you see the people that, talk a bunch of shit in the chat and then come on, I'm actually like really open to it. And I'm appreciative of them coming on and facing the music. I love that. There's nothing more that I enjoy than that. That's why David Cure is one of my favorite all-time mother effers, because he treats me like a piece of shit in the live chat. And you want to know what he does at the end of the day? He bops on, uses the live chat, calls in via the access line, bitches about the 60-second timeline, gives me ridiculous, outlandish perspective, thanks me, and then moves on. Never misses a show. I fucking love that shit. I love that. And yeah, you're right, Evan. Where the hell have you been, David Cure? You son of a bitch. All right, guys. Join the Discord group. Would love for you to do so. There's been a lot of chatter in there right now, as you would expect. Welcome to Elijah. Elijah just joined the group a short while ago here. It's a pinned comment right now in my live chat. Free access. You get a shout out. The Real Venom, Elijah, over 1,000 members and counting. We talk football in here. Everybody's chatting about the new acquisition. I have no idea what T plus is saying here. Consummate. I don't know why definitions are floating around, but there's a lot to chat about, including Bobby After Dark. What goes on in there, Lord only knows. Thank you guys for participating tonight. A lot of live stream hours and a lot more to come tomorrow. Sarah and I are going to have a whole lot of content to soak this one in, and who knows, by the time that tomorrow rolls around, 12 noon Eastern for our Ravens lunch hour live stream, you never know. There might be more to talk about. But as of right now, you can go to bed knowing that the Ravens have more edge rusher help on the way. It's Draymond Jones. That's on top of what they did over the weekend, dealing Jair Alexander for a 6th rounder. And obviously what they've done about a month ago, almost a month ago, bringing in Alohi Gilman for a Dafe Owe and a pick swap. So thanks, guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of your evening. Well over 1,700 concurrents at the moment, which is an awesome number. Thank you for showing up, showing out, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow on the vault with Sarah. Thanks, guys. Later.